Episode 31. The Opportunity She Brings.
They expertly destroyed the research station, but left eyewitnesses? Asked Reach Kisos. Yes, Assembly member. Reach sighed. She was used to her colleagues being generous with words, giving meandering responses if asked such an open-ended question, leaving room for sweet speculation. Not so with this man. Intelligence analyst Vanut, in your experience, if someone is capable of planning and executing a daring operation, like the theft of a Kubu Kasif sphere drive array, then disposes of all physical evidence, how often does it happen they do not leave just one witness behind, but a whole group? Is this not a bit too convenient? Convenient, Assembly member. Certainly. Otherwise, we would only have fragments of radio communication between the infiltrators. Foyesh Lasap's long, slender hand slapped on the polished conference table. Infiltrators? These people are traitors, terrorists. Yes, Assembly member. As to how often does it happen? Never. But then we also never had a sphere drive taken. Do not get clever with us, said Foyash. Be glad we even consider the opinion of a lowly analyst. I am a lead intelligence analyst, Assembly member, outranking the deputy sector commander you had assigned to oversee my investigation. I was told I would report my findings to the committee. We are the chair and vice chair, said Reach. The conference room was bright, simple, yet elegant, and featured 12 comfortable seats around the oval table. Reach knew this was the most important investigation in analyst Vanut's brief mortal existence. He wanted an audience to tell his findings, share his discovery with the galaxy, not simply with the gruff elder, plus a career stateswoman. She smiled. We are the committee. Yes, said Foyash. And before we waste our colleagues' valuable time, we want to make certain these eyewitnesses are useful. There are many ways to tamper with someone's recollection. Maybe the station operators told you some carefully implanted memories, believing them to be true. The terrorists had ample time. It took many spins before the group was found. A fair point, Assembly member. There was likely opportunity for such manipulation, but the ERI would have revealed it. The ERI? Asked Reach. Episodic resonance imaging, a combination of engram tagging, neural pattern reconstruction, and optogenetic restoration. Oh, spare us the jargon, said Foyash. Are the memories genuine or not? Most importantly, said Reach, would you, lead intelligence analyst Vanut, stand in the grand chamber of the assembly and state with full confidence what you are about to tell us? Reach knew the threat of a grand chamber testimony to be terrifying, even for a clever, ambitious man like Vanut, who tried his utmost to appear calm and controlled. Mortals had rarely set foot in the assembly chamber in recent history, and only one had ever addressed a session. Foyash seemed sluggish, even while seated, at least to the untrained eye. But he understood what Reach was doing. We are doing you a favor, my dear lead analyst, he said, keeping the audience small for now. What do you have for us? Vanut touched his temple implant. A projection of 2 human heads appeared over the center of the table. The infiltration. He started over. The terrorist attack was led by 2 individuals. This woman. The female head ballooned into a magnified view, went by the codename Wraith. Reach squinted. The young woman's face looked familiar. We identified her with 99.5% confidence as Linuka Omga. Foyash's pale complexion got paler. You are telling us that Kel Chada's daughter has stolen our sphere drive. That is ridiculous. How old is she? I know some religious cult used to worship her, but she is a child. Krugza Dartuske is the 2nd largest religion in human-settled space, Assembly member. I would not call it a cult. She had help, said Reach. She pointed at the unmagnified male head. Who is he? Identified as Char Dazini, former Levy Fleet Detachment leader. Foyash looked at Reach. Dazini. Is that? Maybe later, Assembly member, said Reach. We should let the analyst Vanut continue. Foyash had recognized the name too. The leader of the Marines who took the fall for Assembly member Lotnuk Ruptamar's escapades with the Omga family. Linuka Omga's quest beyond space and time, the death of Kel Chada, stolen battleships. Once quiet returned, the Marines fled their holding facility, Linuka Omga had approached Reach, promising her support for becoming the committee chair. In return, she excluded the facility video streams from the official report. The streams showing Linuka Omga freeing Chardzini. Venote was not aware of this, and she preferred keeping it that way. It appears that Omga and Zini commanded a group of human soldiers and 3 or more isonomy. AI cause? Asked Reach. Chardzini had been freed along with his former unit. What drove the machines to participate in this attack? Sadly, isonomy appear too uniformly to determine their identity. But from the context of the operation, we are 72% confident these were dark AI remnants. Analyst Venote, said Foyash. Listen to yourself. For 11 orbits, the remnants have ignored or resisted any form of outreach or official negotiation. Besides a handful of amnesty seekers, no one had proper contact with these marauders. But this Omga girl has somehow befriended 3 of them. Probably more, Assembly Member. Which leads me to how the attack was possible at all. This group used a Kubu-Xif ship identical to one the guarding task force expected as part of a regular rotation. And they just let them join the task force? Asked Foyash. They knew the protocols and passed the challenges. There was no suspicion until an unscheduled shuttle approached the sphere drive array, which carried the infiltrators, who could then activate the device and use it for their escape. Reach took a deep breath. Could you reveal the whereabouts of the sphere drive? No, Assembly Member. The attackers were careful not discussing their plans in front of the station operators. The only statement made hinted they would use the drive again. So they could be anywhere in the local group of galaxies? Asked Foyash. As far as we understand. We thank you for your illuminating yet frustrating report, said Reach, and we shall call on you again shortly for more details. If you could please wait outside. Venote left, his steps lacking the crisp resolve compared to his entrance into the room. The door closed. He is disappointed, said Foyash, and so am I. Why did you send him away just yet? We need to squeeze every bit of information out of him before others are aware of what happened. There is a greater opportunity here, she said. Foyash's bald head wrinkled. You got my attention, Chairwoman. You recognize this Chardzini character. First, Linuka Omga lets Linuka Omga go instead of pulling her in front of the same tribunal that put this man and his soldiers away. Then Omga does not keep her detained. The girl is a known immortal and is multi-aware. He lets her live in an inner-city apartment. When he comes to his senses, she evades arrest, then breaks out these soldiers and vanishes. Instead of starting the greatest person hunt in history, nothing. Omga calms the committees, tells them to wait. For what? The same Omga with the same soldiers reappear, controlling a Kubu-Xif warship, and now the only working sphere drive array, operated by dark AI remnants. A disaster, Foyash shook his head. I must admit I do not see the opportunity, only a strain of bad decisions leading to a terrible outcome. Precisely, and it is all Linuka Omga's fault. Foyash's lank upper body leaned back against the chair cushions. I see, he said. Well, Reach, I always knew you were ambitious. Youngest sitting member of the Assembly, first woman to chair a committee. But taking on Omga, that is 500 orbits of intrigue spinning and alliance crafting, all in one dangerous man. Are you certain you are ready for this? Omga also had 500 orbits to make enemies. We could build a powerful coalition against him. But the most powerful enemy he ever made is at the center of this disaster, Linuka Omga. What has he done to her? The coup that unseated her as the Shagis of Alu Dash, putting her degenerate clone aunt on the throne. Foyash's mouth opened. Omga's doing. When she comes here, you think she will attack the Assembly? Her mother did. I believe she is collecting a crew and ships to finish what Sia Omga started. What do we do then? We remind her that she has friends in the Assembly, friends who will deliver the one true enemy to justice, the man who imprisoned her father and ruined her life. If our efforts to bring Omga down politically fail, we shall feed him to the most powerful, angry girl in the galaxy.